Hi, Sonia Clark here again from Lead Business Education, bringing you some tips on your corporate training. Now, everyone wants to have a stronger, better ROI for the money that they're spending and the time that delegates are out of their job role and doing training. So there's really quite a few underpinning fundamentals that are involved in corporate training, as well as some extra tips over and above to try to get that extra edge out of the time and money and effort that you're spending on corporate training. So there's a couple of tips that I'll give you in just a moment. One of the leading courses that have been happening is around self-leadership, as well as we've seen emotional intelligence happen in the past, and it's coming about again. And I have found that with the combination of self-leadership and emotional intelligence, having that little bit more of an upper edge in a training room and for your delegates and the ROI that you get from them. So what happens is that with these sorts of trainings, it helps build a lot more of the self-leadership then, which reciprocates into further leadership of both clients and customers as well as colleagues. And with the emotional intelligence, they're saying statistically, there's been quite a bit of research out there saying that businesses that are going to survive into the future are going to be those that really encompass the emotional intelligence and build upon it. So when you're actually then building on the emotional intelligence and the self-leadership as being an underpinning fundamental for any of the courses, or whether you do a deep dive on just that, you are really helping to set your business up for sustainability. In the next 5 to 10 years, we're starting to see a lot more corporate organizations coming together and amalgamating and getting larger. So you do need to have that point of differentiation, as well as some really underpinning strengths to help you stand out in the marketplace and to be sustainable into the future and make sure that you're having good tenure from your staff and customer satisfaction. So therefore, to have your staff trained as much as possible around attitude, knowledge, as well as skill set is fundamental. So again, like I said, the self-leadership and the emotional intelligence are the underpinning that will help with that. You'll find that you'll have not only staff satisfaction, you'll have customer and client satisfaction, because that positivity is reciprocated. You best then, the best tips around that is to speak to someone who is delivering that training. So say, for example, to actually speak to me prior to putting together a customization for your organization, for your training and for your staff. Then I can be looking at your values, your vision, your mission, and to bring it all together. So therefore, with that there's that underlying message in the training, and to incorporate that into the actual activities so that it's a whole lot more conducive for the particular job roles for those delegates that are there in the training, as well as for the organisation. And because I've been training for a very long time, more than a decade, it's actually been around more like 27 years, and I've trained in various different sorts of industries, both in accredited and non-accredited. It's always amazed me that there seems to be so much effort put into what those that choose, the powers that be that choose the actual courses and send delegates to, as to then where is the alliance and the congruency of the messages of what the business stands for and what it's trying to achieve, as well as for the internal processes, as well as for the staff. When you're doing more of a customized, tailored solutions for your training, a lot of those little gaps are filled in. And the most important thing is to speak to the trainer and content creator like myself, so that we can fill in those gaps so you are getting the best ROI possible. So there's a couple of tips there for you to think about. And I know I even used to think that emotional intelligence was a little bit fluffy, but there's a way of doing it that you can still have take out the fluff, take out the hype, back it up with neuroscience and with a whole lot of data, and to work it in, reverse engineer it with your end users through to what you are trying to achieve with your vision for your organization. So let's have a chat, reach out to me, and I'd also like to see some feedback typed in, and let's start a conversation. So until then, I will see you again. Bye.